Alright, what is up, boys and girls? We're back in another episode. This one's gonna be the MLB offseason one. We're gonna go through it. We're gonna look, and we're gonna go quick. We're gonna take this time to look into MLB. And we're gonna overview of the whole entire season, my predictions, and what I think is gonna happen, and we're gonna take it from there. So right now we're gonna look at. I'm gonna give you my big overview of the off season and big moves that were made over the off season. So the big moves, so like the Chris Sale, Encarnacion, trades and moves, just signings in general. So starting off with Encarnacion, that's wow. First of all, I didn't think, as a Red Sox fan, I didn't think that. I thought Encarnacion was okay, it's just a pipe dream that. First of all, I wanted the Red Sox to go after him, but then it was after a while, it was okay, I think we're set as long as we can try to get that cheap talent. But Encarnacion to the Indians, wow, that's scary. That lineup is already good enough as it is, along with the rotation with Kluber and Carrasco and Salazar and all of those guys. That is a terrifying lineup or rotation, along with Andrew Miller and Cody Allen in the back of it. Whoosh. Wow. The Indians are going to be a tough team to beat this year. So yeah, you just add firepower. You replace Mike Napoli in Cleveland with Encarnacion for $60 million, when you were expecting. I mean, at the beginning of the offseason, you were expecting Encarnacion to get what, 90 million, maybe reach six figures, or not six figures, not nine figures. Fucking sorry. You wanted him to reach he was projected to reach 90 million, at least with his deal, maybe 80 million if things went bad. It went to 60 million over, what was it, 3 years? Yeah, 3 years, $60 million. Yeah, they were expecting maybe 4 for 90, but no, 3 for 60. So moving on. So yeah, that's just a scary lineup. I'm not looking forward to that at all whatsoever. As a Red Sox fan, I'm not looking forward to having to do that. The White Sox. So we can do this kind of. We can kind of go with everything. Let's talk about the Red Sox first, because then the White Sox are just an overall thing. Chris Sale, Dave Dombrowski, you beautiful man. Everybody had always talked about, how, oh, Red Sox are the only team that really has the prospects in place to get Chris Sale, and it's only a matter of time before somebody really pull the trigger on the Chris Sale deal. Especially after the uniform incident last season with Chris Sale and the alternative uniforms and stuff like that, and where he cut him up. Everybody was okay, there's no way he's sticking around for that much longer. That's kind of just him basically crying for help and asking out. Even though that's not what he did. He said he wanted to remain with the White Sox multiple times, but it was basically a cry for help. You're not gonna cut up uniforms because why not? Why not? But that's just the fact that you're able to put together. And I'm kind of with Dave Dombrowski on this, with the whole idea of prospects for immediate talent, especially when you have a team like the Red Sox, when you have a roster like the Red Sox, when you have such progressed young talent, when you have a Mookie Betts, JBJ, Xander Bogaerts, Benintendi, and then you still have the Pedroias, the Prices, Porcello at the top of his game. The one glaring weakness of that team was the starting rotation, or filling the back end of the starting rotation. So you get rid of one of those problems right away. Now we have a problem of, oh boy, we have too many starters on our team. Okay, that's kind of the problem we're at now. Which I wish we didn't trade Buchholz, because it's I mean, that's still he had to give up a lot of money to get. We would have had to keep him for a lot, but 12 million or something like that. But I wish we would have kept him. because I like having that depth, and like especially he pitched very well out of the bullpen, so I was very impressed with him for that. But I don't know, I'm kind of on the fence. Like the Red Sox, I really love that trade. Like Moncada, I liked Moncada, but it was just like I didn't see him playing third base. I really didn't. I didn't see him like finishing or playing third base at like a consistent level. Like the defense, I don't think the defense was really gonna match for third base. And I just didn't think he fit well at third base. So I think I wish him all the best. Like he's gonna be a great prospect. Like he's cost us a lot of money, but to get him, but he's gonna be a great He's gonna be a great player one day. Along with Kopech. Kopech has his problems, but I mean, what did he hit like over the winter? 107, is that what it was? He hit 105 when he was still with the Red Sox. Now he hit 107 on the gun. So both of them and the other prospects, obviously, the other two prospects that weren't as highly rated as those two that were sent in the deal. Wish them all the best, but I don't know. It's a good trade. Like it's a good trade to get someone of the caliber of Chris Sale, who's also under contract for I think another like 3 years at least. So being able to keep him and then figure out contract wise if we can keep him or how we're gonna try to keep him is gonna be that's gonna be interesting. Once we get down to like that point where that's Bogarts and Benintendi and all of them, we have to make a decision on because I don't know how like we're gonna be able to keep all of them, especially with how the Betts contract situation worked out. The awkwardness kind of because he should have been owed a lot of money, but we didn't do very well, and we didn't pay him this year. We're only paying him like 1 million. All right, so moving on to the White Sox, like just in general with the White Sox. I mean, all the trades that they did, I mean they just got rid of everyone, or not everyone, but they got rid of some key guys on the roster. Like it's what did they do? They got rid of Sale. They got the number one prospect like in the world. They got one of the best like pitching prospects in Michael Kopech. Then you give up Adam Eaton. I mean, Adam Eaton, I love Adam Eaton's game because he's such like a grinder and he's a little quick outfielder that can a little give you a lot of hustle, but I don't think he's worth a I don't remember what number he is, but Lucas Giolito, if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, like I don't think Adam Eaton is worth, that much to give up Lucas Giolito. I just like it just doesn't make that much sense, but at the same time like it just like I don't know, like it just doesn't it kind of bothers me if they did that. At the like national I mean the Nationals need to win now and they have that hole. They've always had that hole in the outfield. Like they've had Harper and they've had Worth in left field for a long time, but like center field has always been an issue sometimes, but and they think they filled it now, which I think Eaton is going to fill that role, but at what cost? So yeah, that's kind of interesting. The Chapman deal. Okay, so I'm going to go to Chapman with the Yankees. I mean, that's I can't blame the Yankees because it's like because I mean you got a really nice prospect in like you got a really nice prospect from the Cubs in Gleyber Torres during at the trade deadline basically last season, and then you sign Chapman back. Like you sign him back. It's just a lot of money to give a closer. Like I just don't like how much money teams are giving up for closers nowadays. Like $86 million for Chapman, 86 for 1 inning a game sometimes. Not even. I don't know. It just doesn't like. I just don't like that much. Uh, other deals. Dexter Fowler going to the Cardinals. That was really cool. I like Dexter Fowler. I love Dexter Fowler because, I mean, he's always been a down to earth kind of guy. Like just not even as a player. Like he's always been one of those guys that just like enjoys the moment and like understands the fact that he's in like a once in a lifetime like situation, but like I think it's I like him a lot, but like, and he joined the Cardinals after like winning the World Series. He helped the Cubs like a lot, especially when Hayward was struggling during the World Series and during the playoffs. Like he was struggling big time, and Fowler stepped up in the outfield. But I don't know, just like, and if you remember like how he left and he like thanked the Cubs, and it was kind of cool because the Cubs, like, usually you don't see that nowadays with like when somebody leaves and goes to like your rival in like the same division. You don't really see somebody like the team like thank them and like say goodbye. Like you usually just get the cold shoulder from the team. 'Cause it's like you could have come back, but no. But Fowler deserves it. Fowler deserves the money. I mean, he deserves like the 5 year, 82 million dollars. Like he deserves every penny of that. But it was kind of just cool to see like the Cubs like. I mean, it was on their social media page, and like I guess they talked about it, and like I know they talked about it and thanked him like not over social media like, but it was kind of cool like gesture to see because you don't really see that anymore like around the league or any like professional leagues. Again, closers, Melancone. I can't pronounce his name. Mark Melanson. That's what it was. I keep calling him Melancone. I keep doing that because one of my friends always called him Melancone because he just could not. He just does not know how to pronounce people's names that are just like kind of difficult. Like whether it's in the NBA or like trying to like listen to him pronounce Giannis Antetokounmpo's name, trying to like uh trying to listen to him do that kind of just bothers you. But yeah, I don't know. It's just like the fact that I just don't like how much money the people give up. It's a good move for the Giants because they've had that gigantic hole. Like that's how they lost the series to the Cubs this year the fact that was the fact that they had that hole. Like they were so close they were really close in to at least closing out the game in the NLDS against the Cubs, and then they lost the lead, and then they ended up losing the game to the Cubs, and then or like it was the deciding game, so it was the Cubs. It was an elimination game, so the Cubs moved on after that game. So it was definitely a hole, and it's definitely worth the money for them because they had that hole. They haven't really had like that shutdown closer since oh my god, what's his name? I'm thinking Sergio Romero or Romeo, something like that. But I'm thinking no, Brian Wilson. That's what it was. I love Brian Wilson. Brian Wilson was the man. Uh, the beard and everything, just the demeanor of him. But yeah, just I don't know, just the overall just like deals this year were kind of just different, like kind of just weird and you unexpected. The closers getting more money than you expected. Big big names going to different places. I mean, you got even smaller names, smaller big names that like moved. I mean, Gene Segura's trade to the Mariners. That uh, it was. I don't know. It was an interesting trade, but it's like hard to dissect until like the actual season starts and you see how it works. Because I don't know, the Mariners need a shortstop, and that really you know helps close out their infield. I guess besides first base, their first base needs help as well, but at least it kind of shores up some parts of their lineup. And they really don't have speed up in the front of their lineup like they have. I mean, their main hitters are you got Cano, Nelson Cruz, and Seager. Other than that, you don't really have a speedster. So that's kind of what Segura and Seager. There you go. Segura brings to that team. All right, so yeah, this is those are all like the real off-season like deals, like the major deals. Oh, man, actually one more. I don't know what they're thinking. Like I understand what they're thinking because they play in a very friendly, very batter-friendly park. But it's just like it doesn't like I don't know. The Ian Desmond deal to the Rockies. I mean, Desmond deserves every cent. Like he is. the man for what he did. Like the fact that he was able to go from like being like a minimum deal to like a one. He got like the 1 year deal, and then he just because nobody wanted him last offseason. Like nobody really cared to want him. And then he changed positions. He went to the outfield. He switched from shortstop playing the Nationals to center field in the outfield for uh, for the Rangers last season. He was huge for them going through the whole season. Like he was the one of the big reasons why they were able to win the division and finish with one of the better records and if not the best record in the American League. I don't remember. I'd have to look. Yeah, they did finish with the best actually, because I remember that. Yeah. They finished with the best record in the American League, so a lot of it was due to him. But like it doesn't. I don't know. The Desmond trade, like he deserves every cent, but like I keep saying that, but like he deserves it. But I don't know. The Rockies just like you have like the outfield kind of covered up. Like the outfield, you can't really move anybody because you got Blackman. I mean, you got Blackman and got or Cargo in the right field. You really don't have that many people you can move around to like make room for him. So they're sticking him at first base. I mean, he can't go back to shortstop because rookie sensation from last year, Trevor Story, is not there. So or is there so or was there. So he's kind of I don't know. You can't really move him anywhere else. So first base has been a hole for them for a while, but you would think that it would be like, and it was a really weak like. I understand like it was a weak like pitching market this year, but I don't understand like I want to try to understand like what their idea is. I think they'll be a good team. I think they'll finish third in the NL West, but I don't know. And they could fight for like they'll be one of those teams that like sits there like a couple games back of like the final wild card spot for like a long time until the end of the season. But yeah, that's basically it. That's basically just like off season stuff. Like that's everything about the off season. Really, that's like gone on. I mean, the only thing that's like been going on recently is like Rudin Odor's extension, just getting ready for the season, I guess. Other than that, it's really not that. There's really not that much to talk about at this point, except for just going through the predictions and looking forward to it. So yeah, let's get into the predictions because this is gonna be interesting. I can give you exactly what I think. So this time I'm gonna say okay. So we're gonna go through this. We're gonna start in the AL and then we're gonna work our way to the NL and then I'll tell you exactly how I think the playoffs are gonna go. And then when the playoffs are over in October or November, whenever it ends next year or well this year, we're gonna come back to this video and I'm gonna laugh and I'm gonna be so proud of myself. So basically, so just like I'm gonna go through the order and I'm gonna say why. I'm kind of gonna give like a general synopsis as why. I can. Okay, so AL East, last place, kind of easy, not really. Tampa, fourth place I have Baltimore, third place I have New York, second I have Toronto, and then first obviously I have the Red Sox. The Red Sox are the heavy favorites because their lineup is still that high oil machine that it was last year, just not like minus Big Poppy. I mean, I mean, we made a lot of acquisitions. I mean, this is kind of the Red Sox fan talking, but at the same time, it's not because it's just like there are way too many factors that have to go wrong and right for everybody else in the division that it kind of just like it doesn't make sense to vote for anybody else at this point. Toronto kind of just lost. Toronto lost their huge like their big bat and Encarnacion. I mean, they have a good staff. They have a good rotation and stuff like that, but and their lineup is still deadly. Like you got Donaldson and Bautista and you got people like that and Tulowitzki, but it's I don't think it's enough. It's not enough to keep pace with the Red Sox. It might be like you might be able to see them like stay close to the Red Sox's offense, and the rotation is good enough to stay with the Red Sox as well. I think to a certain extent, as long as like both as long as both stay healthy, I think they'll stay together. But I don't know. I just don't see it working out as well as for the Red, because the Red Sox is just going to be a more consistent lineup and rotation than the Blue Jays will. Orioles, I don't know. Orioles and Yankees. The Yankees could be a surprise team. Yankees sitting at third for me. The Yankees, I don't know. I could see them competing, kinda, depending on if their lineup works out. I mean, they got a lot of. They're in the middle of rebuilding. Like they're doing a terrific job at rebuilding. I mean, you already have like Gary Sanchez and youngsters like that, and then they just auctioned off everybody or I think it was during the winter, or no, it was during winter. What am I talking about? During the trade deadline over the summer when they auctioned off everybody. So they're still waiting for their prospects to come up from that, which is which was a terrific move by them by trading like Chapman and McCann and stuff like that and older players like that. But yeah, not really. The Tampa, they have all right rotation. Their lineup is not that great. It's not really a surprise that they're gonna finish last. I'd be surprised if they finished anything but that. All right, so the Central, uh, yeah, rounding out the bottom. White Sox are gonna finish last, which, sorry Minnesota, I'm taking that away from you. You've had it for a while, but no, you're gonna take it away from you. Chicago, obviously, because they traded away a couple good pieces. It looks like they're going to be trading away Quintana soon, so their rotation is really going to take a hit soon. So they're just not like MLB ready right now. Like they got a lot of prospects and they're really bright future, but it's just not going to work out this season. Minnesota is fourth. Yep, Minnesota. I just don't see them. Like their rotation needs a lot of work. It's just not like a good. They just need to completely rebuild. Like I don't know what they're doing at this point. Like they have good prospects. I like them. I like the prospects that they have in Sano and Byron Buxton. Yeah, that's his name is. There you go. I gotta like sometimes I gotta like sit here and like think for a second. It's like who am I thinking of? The center fielder. It's gotta go through like my brain really quick. Yeah, Byron Buxton. I like him. He strikes out a lot, but I like him. I think he'll become a better leadoff hitter, like a nice leadoff hitter for the team. But obviously not this season. They're gonna finish toward like it's gonna be a race to like the last. Who's gonna be in last place between those two? Kansas City. Yeah, they're not. They're on the downswing since the winning the World Series a couple of years ago. They've been on the downswing. I don't know. Just you have good players like Hosmer and Moustakas and Salvador Perez, and sadly they lost their ace, Yordano Ventura, this offseason as he passed away. So their rotation's not as solid as it was due to that, which is sad because you never want to see that happen. Um, but yeah, I just don't see them competing really this year. They'll be like a, they won't be like bottom of the table team, but they'll be a middle tier team, not 500, but close to it. Detroit is gonna be second. I see Detroit playing very well. I like Detroit from last year. Detroit, I was surprised. I was kind of hoping they'd sneak into the wild card spot, mostly because I just didn't want two teams from the AL East to be in, but they got it anyway. Detroit. So yeah, I see Detroit rotation. If Verlander can continue like playing as well as he did, pitching as well as he did, then maybe he'll actually win the Cy Young this year. Yep. But yeah, hold on. Yeah, maybe he'll actually win the Cy Young. You never know. Then his wife can go not complain about that. It's kind of funny how it's kind of funny how that happened with Scherzer and Porcel both going to win Cy Youngs for their different teams from Detroit. I don't know. It's kind of funny how that worked out after they got traded away or just left, I guess, in Scherzer's case. And then last, Cleveland. I already talked about Cleveland. Their lineup is filthy. The rotation is going to be healthy, and it's going to be even more filthy than normal. Their bullpen is going to... I literally going into this session, I was like, okay, I'm gonna talk about Cleveland, but like they really aren't that great. No, they're really that good. Like, I'm talking about it now. I'm just like, oh my god, they're really that good. Okay. But yeah, that's gonna be interesting. I don't know. I really hope Cleveland does all right and Detroit does good, but like Cleveland's scary. I don't see it. It's just gonna be terrifying. But yeah, moving on. AL West, last place. I can just do the bottom. I can just do the bottom two because it's always the same. It's been the same for a while now. Oakland in last, Angels in fourth. It's just neither team has the supporting cast or just any good players at this point. Like Oakland, I don't know. I don't know what to say about Oakland. They got to draft better. Like they got to pick better prospects because you've had shots at the first overall pick, or like not first overall, but you've had shots at like the top like five or top three picks in the last few seasons. And I haven't seen that translate to anything for like the last like few years. You've seen them up there in the draft, and nothing's really moved at all. Angels don't have a supporting cast for Mike Trout. Rotations not terrible. It's not good. It's not a good rotation. Not a good lineup really. Lineup's really not that good outside of Trout and Pujols and uh Calhoun's alright. I like Calhoun as a player. I don't really know. This is the difficult part. Once you get past those two teams in the AL West, those two teams really don't matter that much to me because they're just really not that good. You have Texas, Seattle, and Houston. I don't like. Part of me thinks like I want to put like you could flip any of these either way. Like, this is gonna be the most interesting division to me. Obviously, outside of those two teams that I talked about before. I see Texas barely finishing third. And when I say barely, I mean like there's going to be like 2 games separating like all these teams, or like 2 or 3 games separating like the third place team and the first place team. But Texas is going to finish third just because they've lost like a lot. Like they haven't lost a lot. I mean, they lost Moreland to the Red Sox. They lost Desmond to the Rockies, and they really haven't added that much. I mean, they added Napoli back, but I don't know if he's gonna produce like he did last year, as well as all the strikeouts that he had. That's kind of like the one thing that nobody really paid attention to is how often Napoli struck out last year. And then I see, frankly, this is gonna be the surprise kind of. I feel like with my standings, I see Houston finishing in second and Seattle finishing in first. I've always been a big advocate of the Mariners. I don't know why, but like I just see them like finishing this off and actually winning the division this year and making it to the playoffs for once. For once. I like their overall team. I like what they did. Their rotation could use some work outside of, King Felix, but I think they can power through it and finish in first. The Astros will be an interesting team. They kind of need to bounce back. Their team suffered a little. I like their lineup. Their lineup is really good. Like, it's a pretty dangerous lineup, but I don't know. They got to improve from last season. They didn't play. They gotta get out of the gate or come out of the gate stronger than they did last season because they were toward the bottom of the league last season to begin. After the first few months, they were at the bottom still. So it's kind of hard to come back from that. So they got to come out strong if they want to really get to playoffs and win the division again. But yeah, it goes Seattle, Houston, and then Texas. That's what mine look like. The NL East, not really too much to talk about the NL East. NL East is a little self-explanatory. Like the bottom, like the number bottom teams. I mean, you got Philly. Just Philly. I don't think they don't really have the power yet to move up in the standings. They could catch Atlanta or Miami, but it's just I don't see them coming out of fifth place this year. I don't know. Those teams are all. I mean, Atlanta and Philly are both teams that are going to be on the up or on the rise soon, but are on the rise. They're just beginning their rise. But I don't know. I don't see them. I see them finishing in last. Fourth. Now this is where I'm gonna get upsetting. I have fourth. I have Miami. I don't. I just don't. Their rotation wasn't strong. Like enough as it was. Like their rotation really isn't that strong. But now that they have a full season without Jose Fernandez, which is obviously upsetting enough. But I mean, it's the whole season without him. They competed for that final spot, and like that last month of the season, or like last few stretch where he wasn't after he had passed away. The Marlins, you could clearly tell, were trying to make the playoffs, like trying to win for him. But I just don't see them. I see them getting leapfrogged by the Braves and them finishing in fourth this season. The Braves, yeah, I see the Braves finishing third. I don't know. I think they're a really good team. Their lineup is getting better. Their lineup is looking much better. Swanson's gonna have a nice year, I think. Obviously, I think they improved. I think they're gonna finish third. I don't know. Their just overall team is just much better. The rotation improved as well. You got your man Bartolo Colon coming in and R.A. Dickey, but I don't know. I just see them finishing third. I don't think they're gonna come close to the playoffs, but I think they'll improve and they'll jump Miami for third. Fourth, or no, not fourth. Second, is gonna be Mets, and then first will be Nats. Nats just overall better team, I guess. They just much better team than the Mets. The Mets need help. Like their rotation is still really good. Their bullpen needs help, especially with the suspension of their closer. Uh, I don't know. The Mets lineup isn't really that dangerous. The Nats lineup really isn't as dangerous either. But like it's much like each position or each you look at, other than like the rotation is obviously in the Mets' favor, but everything else is kind of just like for the Nats, so it kind of works out that way. I don't really think it'll be that close. I think Nats will easily take it. Um, NL Central, not much is changing here. I see, I see Milwaukee and Cincinnati coming in fifth, fourth, respectively. Uh, Pittsburgh coming in third. Pittsburgh, I don't think they're gonna. I think Pittsburgh's gonna finish below 500 this season. I think they're really just suffering big time. Like they're not gonna be a if unless McCutchen can really pull it out and like their young players and like Starling Marte and Polanco and other players like that can finally start going and carry the team a little bit more than from McCutchen because he's on the downswing a little bit. I could see them finishing above 500, but not really playoff bound. I think they're stuck there. St. Louis is, I think St. Louis is playoff bound. They're second because I'd be crazy to pick anybody but the Cubs for first. Cardinals, obviously second. I don't really see them. I don't really see that being much of a competition. They're gonna have a really boring last month of the season. like it's, I feel like they're gonna comfortably get in the wild card, like have that first wild card position, and then just like kind of be stuck there and just sit there and kind of just hope because they can't really catch the Cubs, but like the Pirates and nobody else on the wild card's gonna catch them either. So yeah, that'll be interesting. And the Cubs, you just can't there's no arguing. They lost Chapman from last season, but like other than that, it's not really getting that much different. All right, so this is it. Yeah, this is so the NL West. This is gonna be it. Okay, so NL West, Padres are finishing this in last. They're going last. They're gonna be awful. Like they're gonna be worse than we've seen in a long time. Like you've seen Oakland and Atlanta and Philly be really bad. Like they're gonna be a new definition of awful this year. So yeah, San Diego just has nothing. Like they just don't have anything really. And then Arizona, I think Arizona's gonna take a dip as well. I mean, not a dip because they were not good either. They were really disappointing. Like last year, I don't know. I just don't see them like surviving or like getting really out of, especially when you have to play against that division, like the top three, as many times as they do. I don't see them really escaping that much. I don't see them going anywhere near 500. I see them dipping like a lot below 500. Colorado, I see them sitting at 500, maybe a little above, but they could challenge. They're gonna be one of those teams that challenges for like the last wild card spot, but will just barely miss it again. And then second, I have the Dodgers actually. I have the Dodgers in second. Just because I didn't really see there wasn't that much of improvement with the Dodgers. They didn't really improve that much in the offseason. I'm trying to think of stuff that they did and just wasn't. They really didn't do that much. Yeah, they really didn't do that much in the offseason. They kind of just stood pat, which is okay. Like they're a good team. Like there's no reason for them to not. They will not. Like they made it to the NLCS and they were pretty close to going to the World Series. But I don't know. I don't see them. I see them finishing second. All right, and then first, San Francisco. I thought San Francisco was gonna win the division last year, and then. But I think just the main thing, even though I just criticized them for paying so much for the closer, I think like having that ninth inning relief is gonna pay off so much. Just because they don't have they just never had like a good closer back there for a while, or just like one of those shutdown closers. So if as long as Melanson, there we go. I gotta figure out how to pronounce his name. Melanson can like continue his dominance and not dominance, but productivity from like the last few seasons with the Pirates and Nats. They'll be all set. I think they'll take first pretty easily. I don't think it'll be that. I don't think it'll be that challenging. So yeah, big thing with this. So playoff bound. I think we see Red Sox, Indians, ALCS, and then you see Cubs. I see a rematch from last season, but not like that. Not that kind of rematch. I see the Cubs. I see Cubs Giants this year. So from the NLDS, you move that to the NLCS. I see Giants Cubs, and then I might surprise some of you here. This is gonna be the surprise. This is gonna be. I know I said the surprise pick was the Mariners making it into the playoffs, but I see. But what I see is uh, I see Cleveland making it over the Red Sox, and then San Francisco making it above the Cubs. I see San Francisco upsetting the Cubs, which is a very bold prediction, seeing as how dominant like the Cubs are. I don't know. I really like what the Giants did. I like what they are, and I think they have a really good chance of. I know I'm sorry, it's not an even year. Like I understand that, but I just have faith in the fact that they'll make it to the World Series this year. And kind of giving it away, my World Series prediction is Cleveland in 6. So I just think, and then the World Series MVP is gonna be Lindor, of course, because he has to be, because it has to be Lindor. Actually, scratch that. I changed it. Never mind. I'm changing my mind. I'm changing my mind. I'm changing my mind. Not about who wins. Cleveland wins in 6. I'm going with that, because they're just scary. Like they're actually terrifying. I would pick Cleveland over Chicago right now anyway. So even if I did pick them, I would pick Cleveland anyway. But I'm gonna say Cleveland in 6 over the Giants. Andrew Miller, World Series MVP. Shuts down the Giants in 3 games. Has a 1, 2 out or 6 out save, and then has a couple key saves to end it off, and then finishes off the World Series, or gets the save for the clinching game of the World Series. So yeah, that's it. That's basically it. I don't know. Like other than that, there's really not much to talk about. I could talk about MVP awards, but it's kind of I don't really see much difference in the MVP like races. Because Trout is so good in the AL that it's just like there's not much. Like AL and NL are kind of just like 2-horse races, or just not really races. Like NL's really not that much of a race. I mean, Bryant is kind of just like his own monster at this point, like his own beast. So I don't really see anybody upsetting him. And Trout is always really good. So it would take somebody else to have a breakout season, like Betts having another breakout season, or even Benintendi, or Lindor. I could see Lindor. Lindor would be my dark horse pick to be. I mean, not dark horse, but you know what I mean. Like, pick to be AL MVP over Trout. Like, that would be my pick, is Lindor right now. So yeah, outside of that, I'm done. Been going for a while. It's been almost 40 minutes, so this is gonna be a really long episode. I hope you enjoyed it, because been draining. I need to go get a drink or something because I'm actually like my throat actually hurts now from doing this. But yeah, thank you for listening. This this was fun. I'll be back next Friday, maybe sooner. I don't know. Depends on what I'm feeling. I'm going home this weekend, so maybe I'll record something when I'm there. Well, actually, no, I probably won't because I'm going to see my cousin who's home from the Air Force. So I won't probably won't see it. Probably won't talk, but or do an episode while I'm home. But I'll definitely do one next week. And I might have a surprise guest, but she doesn't know anything about sports, so it'll be just me talking and then her giggling along the way. So, all right. So thank you for listening, and I will talk to you guys next time. Thank you.